Hello and welcome to Nigeria, the road to 2019, a series of programs where Arise News places the audience and the choice at the heart of our coverage of the upcoming presidential elections. I'm Charles Anyagulu. Coming up in the next 30 minutes, all the news, comment and analysis that provide unrivaled insight into Nigeria 2019, including barely 48 hours after it came into existence in a bid to oust President Buhari at the next election. A profound political crisis is afflicting the new coalition of opposition parties in Nigeria, or CUPP, with several supposed members of the alliance claiming they were never part of any such coalition. So what now for the concerted opposition attempt to remove the ruling APC party from power? Now, the new opposition coalition of 39 odd political parties in Nigeria, or CUPP, has been thrust into uncertainty after just days after multiple parties signed an agreement to form an alliance aimed at unseating President Buhari and his ruling APC party at the 2019 general election. Anywhere between 4 and 21 of those political parties, depending on who you ask, have reportedly distanced themselves from the coalition, saying they were fraudulently included in the alliance to deceive Nigerians. And now, to make matters worse for the CUPP coalition, many of those parties that have in effect disowned the opposition alliance are now reportedly forming their own coalition to support President Buhari's re-election bid. It remains unclear where this leaves the PDP-led opposition alliance's prospects of consolidating their coalition. So, how much of a humiliating mess is this for the main opposition PDP party? Has the only possible democratic constellation of parties against President Buhari now been effectively shot down? And if so, how bad is it for the PDP's electoral prospects in 2019? Well, for more on this, I'm joined now in the studio by a senior member of the PDP opposition who helped to form the CUPP coalition. And of course, he himself was the former Deputy Senate President, Senator Ibrahim Mantu. Thank you very much indeed for coming in. From what we're hearing or reading, these 4 or 20 or 21 odd political parties openly loathe your coalition's guts and are holding your coalition in contempt for allegedly fraudulently adding them to your list of coalition partners. And that has now come out essentially in public. It's become a big public backbiting, a very embarrassing, as it were, lobbing of the grenade. What's your reaction to that?
Well, first and foremost, I want to say that the PDP on its own alone has the capacity of unseating APC in 2019.
Well, if it did, why did you form a coalition?
We did because we are Democrats, and the more the merrier. We know that to win election, we depend on people. And so we want a resounding victory, a victory that cannot be contested by anybody. And that's why we decided to, extend our hand of fellowship to fellow Nigerians who want a change for the better in this country. And so when we talk to other parties, and they actually identified with our own dream of actually unseating a government that has actually destroyed this nation, we said, well, we have something in common. What do we have in common? What we have in common is to usher in a government that will actually meet the expectations and the aspirations of Nigerians. And that is why we actually had this coalition. But I'm hearing from you for the first time that 4 to 20, I read the papers today, and there are only 2 parties that have actually said they were fraudulently, according to them, included. I want to say it took us 3 good months of negotiation with other political parties. And we don't need to actually fraudulently include anybody. Don't forget, I was there live when the MOU was signed. And before we did that, we called the name of every registered political party, and its authentic chairman got up there live to identify himself as the chairman. But even before then, we asked the chairman and their secretaries to bring the certificate of registration by ANEC of their party, and they are in custody. Anybody you saw there is in custody of the certificate of registration of his party. If somebody else is talking to you people without any authentic certificate of registration of his party, then he is the one who is
well, many of
fraudulent.
these people were actually chairmen of those parties, and it's been happening over the last few days. There have been several of them who've come out in newspapers and made these allegations. I mean, what it sounds like is that, like, you've been disastrously, fatally conned. I mean, let's face it, Nigerian politicians are known to be energetically promiscuous in their politics. Well, I mean, though you obstinately seem reluctant to concede this. I mean, the fact is that your problems have mounted as a result of these parties dissociating themselves from your coalition, because, I mean, you've got too many odd bedfellows in it with nothing gluing them together, which is pretty much the same sort of problem the APC is having now with its own coalition. I mean, the only thing that's brought the people together is their raw political ambition, and when they can't fulfill that political ambition, they jump ship.
Do you know the problem with this country? Some of you media men are lazy, because it's very easy to confirm who is actually the authentic chairman of any of the party that they are claiming to be.
Well, that's why we're talking to you.
You are lazy because you are supposed to actually call those people who are saying they have been fraudulently included in the coalition and ask them, bring your certificate of registration. Then we now know that you are the authentic chairman of the party. Listen to me, listen.
Right.
A minute.
You've made an allegation, and I have to defend that allegation.
You have said, you know, it's a very serious allegation to say a responsible party like the PDP that is leading people who have taken time to come together because they want to salvage this nation, and you, instead of celebrating what we are doing, you are trying to give us a bad name?
Well,
God forgive you.
Well, first of all,
you must seek for forgiveness.
Well, first of all, no, excuse me, sir.
Yes.
First of all, you were voted out of power because the people of Nigeria felt that you
are going to have a better deal. But now they have realized that they have a bad deal. What's the deal?
They felt that you had run the country into the ground. That's why they removed you from office. 2019 will now decide whether we actually did better than the current government or not.
That is why I am telling you that Nigerians have now realized that what they voted out was actually the best for them comparatively. Therefore, 2019 is a deciding year.
Of course it's a deciding year, but what I'm trying to...
And I'm sure you will come to say that, oh, you will apologize to me when you...
No. Well, we won't get to that. And I can tell you this.
Nigerians are going to vote for the best party.
No, hold on,
that will
Senator
actually meet their
Mantu.
Expectations, please.
The idea is not to be rude or insulting. The idea is to get to the facts of the matter. That's what we deal in. We don't deal in insults.
Listen,
let me just say this.
I believe in facts. Ask anybody. I am a very responsible Nigerian politician.
Well, we're not talking about you. We're talking about your coalition.
I'm talking about my party too. My party is a very responsible party. The PDP has come out to apologize for its shortcomings to the Nigerian people. What made us to be voted out in 2015, we realized it, we came out and apologized to the people, and never again are we going to do those things that made us to be voted out.
Well,
that is why we are now extending our hand of fellowship to Nigerians who believe in the fact that there is a need for a change in this country, a party that will actually be decent and will respect the rule of law, a party that will actually guarantee security of movement, of property and lives of people, a party that is going to actually believe in democracy.
Right. The problem is that you've ostensibly apologized to the Nigerian people.
Yes.
But the Nigerian people aren't simply going to sit around and wait for you to say, oh, okay, well, we've apologized, we're now going to open the doors and let you back in. And the other problem you have is that you've got a ruling APC party that's determined that you're not going to come back into power. So you're going to have to earn your wet wings by demonstrating to the Nigerian people that you've done your mea culpas and that they should now give you another chance. And the problem, in an attempt to do that, what I'm trying to establish is how fragile the coalition you've built is. And what you've done in effect is build a bridge of straw and attempt to hold up an iron tank with it. That's why people are leaving your coalition.
You better allow me to give you
you speak, I speak.
When you want to speak for a whole hour,
no, we're not speaking.
We're
not speaking for a whole hour.
Listen, my friend,
we're
you are here to get facts for the Nigerian people.
Yes,
our
of course.
audience want facts. And you must ask facts, you must ask questions and expect answers to come from
That's
you.
why we're waiting for your answer.
No,
we're waiting for your answer. Give your answer.
Very good.
Good.
You were there live. If you are not there live, your television crew was at the signing of the MOU between the PDP and other like-minded political organizations who are determined to effect a change for the better of this nation. Now, if you go through the video, you will see the names and the chairman of those parties that came into coalition with us. And if you see a fake person, then you can pick us up on that. But you see, for you to come to the conclusion just within 2 days that 20 people have left the coalition and so on and so forth.
That is a wrong assertion on your part.
You said so.
That is a wrong assertion. No, hold on.
You said 4 to 20.
Can I make the point?
You don't want me to actually make my point.
40.
You want to make your point, but don't want me to make my point. Let me make my point also, please, my friend.
I said 4 to 20 people have reportedly left your party.
That is not correct.
Well,
I'm telling you that everybody that signed that MOU had to actually show us his or her authentic certificate of registration and the fact that he or she is the chairman or secretary of that political party. INEC recognizes 2 people at any given time to have signed a paper on behalf of any political party, the secretary of the party and the national chairman of the party. Now, we made sure that those are complied with before we did that. So, for you to sit here and say, how can we ask, look, we don't even need, we are just being magnanimous.
Right. So
by extending our hand of fellowship to people to say, listen, if you believe in what we believe in, come, let's join together so that we can have a resounding victory in 2019.
So you're saying that nobody has left your party?
To the best of
coalition.
To the best of my knowledge, no single person that signed that MOU has left the coalition, unless, of course, if the party had 2 chairmen. And in this case, one of them must be fraud.
Right, okay. I'm going to ask you, Senator Ibrahim Mantu, to please stay with us. We're going to take a short break. You're watching Nigeria, the road to 2019. Plenty more still ahead, including more from the former Deputy Senate President, Ibrahim Mantu, as we continue to gauge the impact of the political crisis that's enveloped the new opposition coalition, or CUPP. Stay with us. Back to Nigeria, the road to 2019. I'm Charles Anyegolo. Now, it's the sort of thing the opposition absolutely dreads. A coalition of political parties hailed as the new power bloc barely 48 hours ago, virtually falling apart even before it's taken root because of infighting, whilst the ruling party they were hoping to remove from office publicly mocks them. Well, that appears to be the scenario currently in Nigeria, where, depending on who you talk to, a clutch of political parties who we were made to understand had originally signed up to the opposition coalition appear to have pulled out after developing what's been described as cold feet. Meanwhile, crucial governorship elections are taking place this weekend in the southwest state of Ekiti, with the opposition People's Democratic Party, or PDP, squaring off against the ruling APC party. Already, the lead up to the contest has been characterized by violence and allegations of officially sanctioned attacks against the incumbent PDP governor and his supporters. Well, for more on this, let's continue our chat with the former Deputy President of the Nigerian Senate and ranking member of the opposition PDP, Senator Ibrahim Mantu. Thank you very much indeed for staying with us. Let's shift gears slightly and look at the lead up to the Ekiti state governorship election in southwest Nigeria. That ballot, of course, taking place this weekend, but already it appears to be mired in all sorts of controversy over an apparent attack on a rally called by the PDP governor Fayose, in which he alleges he was attacked by security forces. What do you know about that incident?
Well, I just know as much as you do because I watch the television. I wasn't in Ekiti live. But what I watch on television, if it is anything to go by, then this country needs more than prayers. We need more than just physical prayers, but we need divine intervention because it's sacrilegious for a governor who enjoys immunity to be attacked physically, what I saw, and even a physical attack with the governor who enjoys immunity, and in government house, which is like, I, as a former member of the National Assembly, the hallowed chambers of the National Assembly is supposed to be sacrilegious for anybody to come in and say anything. But whatever you say there, you are immune. But if you come out with the hallowed chambers of the National Assembly and you say anything, you can be held responsible. The government house and the governor's office and the governor himself enjoy immunity that the governor enjoys. So for the police to go in there, it is like somebody going to a shrine that he does not belong to.
Well, they didn't go into the governor's office, did they? I mean,
where did they meet the governor outside? They met the governor in the government house.
Well, the allegation.
The governor was. I saw it on television live, and I watched it. I was privileged to be watching television channels, and I saw him, and I saw what happened. So I can actually be an eyewitness because I saw it.
Well, I mean, the suggestion appears to be that the attack took place at a rally. And that they've been
at a rally in the government house.
Yeah, but there have been suggestions that the governor contrived the attack against him because there doesn't appear to be any specific evidence of any such attack on him. Because, I mean, the idea of attacking the governor personally is quite, I mean, the police attacking the governor is quite simply unthinkable.
Well, didn't you, well, see, this is the point I'm saying. I say some of you are lazy. Because you, by now, should have been you should have even gone to Ekiti and find out exactly what happened. What I saw with my two naked eyes. I saw a policeman using his bat on him, hitting him, and he fell down, and he was unconscious for some time before they brought him out again. And they took him to the State House Clinic. And there they revived him and came back. So what are you telling me? We also Nigerians, so I'm not going to tell you something that nobody saw. So I'm here to say what I only saw and what every other person saw. If you alone did not see it, then it's a pity.
Well, what we've seen are pictures of the governor suffering from the after effects of tear gas.
I'm saying that what I saw is not after effect. What I saw was the act in action, what I saw.
And you were able to identify the governor being hit?
I saw him. The governor is, are there 2 fire shares as governors of Ekiti?
Because, I mean, the suggestion is that the effects of tear gas would have affected him and lots of other people present at that rally. And that seems to be a plausible claim rather than the fact that the governor was personally attacked by the police.
Well, if you are here to say that the governor was not attacked and Nigerians who saw him like they saw him attacked, then I leave you to
Well,
the people.
I'm asking you.
You are asking me, and I've told you what I saw.
I'm asking you about what you saw.
I'm telling you what I saw with my 2 naked eyes. I saw him being attacked. I saw a policeman using a bat, and one was shooting him on the leg, and one was saying, you know, we're all hearing this. It is unfortunate that somebody who is supposed to know better than me is telling me something else. It's a pity.
Well, looking at all this, Senator Mantu, is it fair to say that the election in Ekiti State this weekend will be a violent encounter between the PDP, the APC, and security forces?
We are praying it shouldn't. We are praying that that does not take place because there's history. That Ekiti has a history. You will recall that, was it in 1983, I guess, you know, when Ekiti was part of Ondo State, a man called Omo Boroyo was sponsored by the ruling party, MPN, which was the party I was in also at that time. I was the deputy state chairman of the MPN and Plateau State at that time. My party then wanted to do what these people want to do, impose an unpopular candidate on the people. And the people resisted, and there was mayhem in the then Ondo State, which Ekiti was part of it. I hope that history will not repeat itself. I pray that the government of the day will take every possible measure to ensure that there is free, fair, and transparent election. Otherwise, I know that what happened before may likely repeat itself.
So
we pray not.
What do you think motivated this, if you like, clash between security forces and people at that rally in Ekiti State?
Desperation. You are here, sitting here. You are aware that people are being killed in their hundreds in many parts of this country every day. They never sent 30,000 policemen to go and solve those problems. But they have now deployed 30,000 policemen to Ekiti State, one state election. What do you mean? For what? Intimidation. And we are now seeing clearly signs of things to happen on Saturday.
And do you think that what's happened in Ekiti State and what may happen in Ekiti State is officially sanctioned by the government of President Buhari?
You are talking here on behalf of Arise.
Well, I'm asking you a question.
I'm saying you are talking here on behalf of Arise Television. The policemen that was deployed there, they are sent there by somebody. So they are, whatever action they take, whether it is sanctioned by the person who sent them or not, the person who sent them must take responsibility.
Yeah, but the question is, what do you think that, because obviously you can have renegade policemen, you can have a lot of things happening. What I'm trying to determine is whether or not you think it's officially sanctioned. In other words, first of all, there's this allegation of an attack against the governor and his supporters. Do you think that was something that was ordered by the presidency, for example, in Nigeria, or the ruling APC party, the Inspector General of Police, or do you think they were simply renegade security officials who were simply reacting to a situation they found themselves in?
What I think is not important. What happens to those people is what will determine whether they were acting on behalf of somebody or they are renegades or policemen. If we see those people being sanctioned properly, then we can now say maybe they did not actually get orders from above. But so far, nobody has been arrested among these policemen. So your assumption is as good as mine.
Well, part of it is because there appear to be conflicting reports emerging from what happened in Ekiti State. And that would require some investigation before action is taken.
Well, so let's wait for the outcome of the investigation.
But you do concede that there are conflicting reports emerging from there.
I don't concede because what I saw is clear. What I'm hearing, the conflicting one is from you now. And I haven't read anything to the contrary also.
Right, so it is your absolute sense that the governor was subjected to a physical attack by security officials.
I saw it with my own naked eyes.
And there is no...
And my eyes are very good. I have a very good vision. I don't have glasses like you have.
And there's no apparent reason why that happened other than the fact that they were trying to intimidate the people.
Reason, that is for those people who want to investigate to go and find, and not for Brian Mantu sitting before you here.
Right. So what is your...
I'm not a mind reader, so
right.
I don't know whether there's any apparent reason or not.
So what is your prognosis now, given all this, going forward?
I have said here, and I want to repeat it again, that let them not allow history to repeat itself. We must learn from ugly history to make sure that everything is done properly. It wasn't easy for some of us to actually fight for a restoration of democracy in Nigeria. Some of us have paid their dues. And that is why we are jealously making sure that democracy is not derailed again, because it is better than even the best military administration. So therefore, people who are today in charge should realize that we didn't get democracy on a platter of gold. If some of them came and they are reaping from what we have suffered for on a platter of gold, please, they should be fair to us who actually fought and put our lives on the line for us to get the democracy restored in Nigeria. Okay,
Senator Ibrahim Mantu, a former Deputy Senate President here in Nigeria, thank you very much indeed.
It's a pleasure, Charles.
Well, that's it for this edition of Nigeria, The Road to 2019. Join us again for a fresh edition tomorrow. From me and the entire team here in Abuja, bye-bye, and thank you for watching. Thank you very much indeed.